Do you all binge eat? I used to do so a lot. It caused me a whole host of physical and mental problems over a few years. Even after I fixed it and built up a decently nice physique, binge eating is a trap that I still fall into, albeit to a much lesser degree. And recently I was thinking, how many of us that binge eat are also susceptible to getting addicted to League of Legends, or any other game for that matter? Is there some sort of correlation between the two addictions? So in this video, we'll discuss the neuroscience behind overfeeding and how it ties into overstimulation of video game addiction. How League's matchmaking can cause the same, if not more powerful triggers for binging and addiction. And how you can take preventative measures so your ranked ladder climb doesn't end up in crippling addiction. If you guys are new here and you want a free VOD review, solo queue therapy session, or addiction help, subscribe for the free content and hit up my Discord for a free session. Both binge eating and League of Legends addictions are tied to the mesolimbic dopamine pathway, which basically governs the body's reward and motivation. It's made up of a whole host of smaller organs like the nucleus accumbens and prefrontal cortex that all play a part in giving us the motivation we need to set out and achieve our goals. Addiction happens when our brain learns to connect some sort of adverse signal like boredom, loneliness, or anxiety with the stimulative reward. This is what can lead to binge or stress eating because our body has learned through our previous actions that this stimulation can get rid of adverse emotions, at least temporarily. This makes sense for food. Our brains haven't really adapted to readily available sugary foods, so it still seeks them out like it's some kind of rare delicacy. Everyone knows that. But what about League of Legends? Because we all know that League isn't exactly the most fun and pleasure-inducing game out there. With League, it's not only the reward of progress, which is the LP and rank ups, but also the matchmaking. In neuroscience, we would call League's matchmaking a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. This means the unpredictability of outcome, this variability, makes League much more exciting and addicting because you never know what you're going to get when you queue up. You don't know if you're going to get your champion or not. You don't know if you're going to have shit teammates or not. Because of all these unknown variables, your brain releases more dopamine every time you queue up. You would think it's only after you win that your brain rewards you with dopamine. And while this is true, it's the anticipation of reward, surrounded by the possibility of failure, that drives people back into this game. Think of it like a slot machine. People get more and more excited when the reward is possible but uncertain. This is a bit different from food. Unlike League, food is a fixed reward because you feel good right after you eat something. To put food in League terms, imagine how much more addicting food would be if the flavor changed every time you bit into the same food. Like if an apple was like randomly bitter or randomly super spicy. There would be an addictive anticipation to that experience, and that's the sort of feeling that League of Legends thrives on. While binge eating creates a cycle of dependency on foods to escape adverse emotions, the matchmaking style of League of Legends makes you addicted to the roller coaster of emotions. This sort of emotional volatility, things such as frustration, hope, excitement, and rage, actually deepens the neurochemical attachment to the game because your brain starts to associate elevated emotional states with novelty, excitement, and aliveness. This is why it's such a common sight to see people, especially content creators, constantly shit on the game but continue to queue up day after day. The excitement of not knowing the result, mixed in with all the emotions, makes this game electrifying to be a part of. So what can we do about this? Because we all want to get better and rank up in League, but we ideally want to avoid developing an unhealthy addiction to the game in the process. The answer is simple but difficult to execute. You change the reward. To explain this, let's go back to the binge eating example at the start of the video. I eventually got out of my overfeeding addiction by doubling down in the gym. And not in the way y'all are thinking. I didn't increase the days or sets or anything. I still only went 3 days a week. I increased the intensity of my sessions. Why? Because while diet, sleep, volume, and testosterone are all very important to muscular growth, the most important part of the equation is muscular failure. Although I always put in decent effort in the gym, I really ramped it up and consistently pushed my sets to or very close to failure. There were times I would come home completely gassed and unable to do anything for a few hours because of the physical strain I put my body through. Instead of getting hyped over the taste of whatever food I was going to eat post-workout, I trained myself for getting hyped for gritting my teeth and pushing those extra 1 to 3 reps every set. And the result was ridiculous. Because I trained myself to satisfy my boredom with intense physical exertion instead of just careless eating, my physique went through a crazy transformation in just a few months. The trick here is to make a mindful decision on how you want to satisfy your cravings. Are you going to go for the easy option of cheap sugary foods, or are you going to go gym and rip your muscle fibers to pieces? By making this mindful choice and slowly but surely rewiring my mesolimbic neural circuitry, I was able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, restore my physique and curb my binge eating because I was psychologically more invested in how I can push myself closer to failure in the long term compared to how I can cure my boredom in the short term. So how does this relate to League? Well, you're probably addicted to League because of the high octane fun of playing a League game and or social validation from friends. If these are are your biggest reasons for queuing up League, then you will at least have a negative associated with the game somewhere down the line. At worst, it can turn to addiction. To not end up addicted to the game, you need to dedicate yourself to the mastery of the craft. I'm not saying you can't have other stuff like playing fun champions or playing with friends, but your number one reason for playing League always has to be some sort of pursuit of mastery, especially if you have an obsessive and or addictive personality. You need to know how to play a champion in every single game state, and you need to know how to play that champion effectively against increasingly difficult opponents. Whenever you get bored and you want to play League just to get away from your real life, frame your reasoning as the pursuit of mastery and not just mindless escapism or seeking validation. This is how I got in my addictive phase from seasons 5 to 9, where learning to take pleasure and satisfaction from leveling up my skills and knowledge about the game and not just from mindless spamming and wasting time. For those of you who have watched the video for this long, let me break it down for you like this. Whether it's overfeeding or overstimulation, the key to breaking out of any dopaminergic loop is consciously reframing the short-term gratification of cravings to long-term pursuit of mastery. Everyone has their own reasons for falling into addictive loops, and there are all kinds of creative ways that the modern world forces you to become a brain-dead consumer. But being cognizant of the type of triggers out there and how they reel you in is very useful to continue doing what you want to do without succumbing to addiction. Because League of Legends is such a fun game when you're able to perceive it as an outlet with a deep and expressive mastery curve. Instead of worrying about dumb shit like matchmaking and loser's queue, dedicate yourself to learning how to win in different game states on your champion, and I promise you the game becomes infinitely more fun and you'll get more results. It's a win-win. That's it from me in this video, guys. If you watched this long, help your boy out with a like so my videos get shown to newer people. Check out my other videos and subscribe if you want to see more climbing psychology content like this in your feed. Let me know what you thought of this topic. Are there any mental priming tricks you deployed to overcome any addictive tendencies that you've had? If you guys want daily VOD reviews and 24/7 access to me for solo queue therapy and coaching, hit up my Discord to see what program you qualify for. I give out one free session of something to get you started, so stop by and see if you like it. If you want more help with your addictive tendencies, you guys can watch my full video game addiction playlist. It details other useful videos about mental priming and tools to control and eventually cure your addiction. I'll see you guys there. Peace.